Look at them, you're right. It's actually related to them. He told the news about the 3 great powers in the Great Sea City. Send a letter to. Finished listening, the faces of all 3 of them were astonished and angry. Now they are completely incapable. Equal to the 3 great powers in the great city of Zak. Static ceiling drilling swallowing saliva. Voice pleading to Zhang Yi. Your father will not ignore us. Pink pepper practice groin cough, an embarrassed voice said. The old man did this. You've got to help our team make that decision. Translation for the first time. I heard the Red Cross call me old man. It's a little unfamiliar. He looked at the red pepper. This woman is so frank. When it's important, change your address quickly. He took the slowest sip of hot tea. I've figured out a way to solve this. Not many things need people to do. People just need to coordinate with our actions. Is okay. Currently, with the power of these big point-based organizations, their role in the action this time is to coordinate. The chapter says out my plan. The first thing to do is to make the enemy look away. Let them lose their guard. We pretend to compromise. First of all, they were lured to the city of Tianhai. What about the next steps? Then I'll tell everyone. In short, prepare in advance. And coordinate the play with me. The campaign didn't reveal too much about their plans. Just acquired a base organization. Expand translation. They can't guarantee their loyalty. So there's a retention. 3 forces finished listening to show determination. Will do according to the word of Trong. I can't help but nod my head. The sky also answers. Don't worry, my acting is great. But they still seem worried. Continuously confirm with Zhang. If anything happens, the police will protect them. They can understand their mood. I also made a lot of verbal promises to them. Now, these 3 bases are in a rock fight. Even if you have a little bit of ability to protect yourself, they will also hold fast. It's like grabbing a newborn float. On the side of the 3 forces in Daizang City. After sending a letter to Zhang Yi, they're waiting for a response. However, whether the campaign answered or not is not good. They've assembled all the troops and ready to go to occupy the main resources in Tianhai City. Not long after, they get the translation program reply email. By the mailbox they gave to Trong. It is used for 3 forces, so they can all see. The email that Zhang had sent. Dear Ba forces in Daizak City. I received your letter today. By mail content can see clearly you're conspiring with the territory and resources in Tianhai City. It's ours. On behalf of the great powers in the Tianhai City, I firmly oppose this action. We have the ability to protect our homeland, and there's no need for outside interference. I hope you can restrain yourselves, and don't be reckless. If not, we will report this to the headquarters of the district, Jiangnam, and let them judge. If you can be good friends and friendly neighbors, we can share some of the resources as a symbol of friendship. Translate Tianhai City. Finish reading this email. The faces of the Min and others. They all seem interested. Ha ha ha. I haven't translated this email yet. I'm going to laugh. Clearly in fear of dying, but still try to be tough. You really think that? Can use the Jiangnan area to scare us SAO. Scared and pretended text in the email. People can't help laughing. The contempt of the Min religion for the translation chapter. Increasingly, he said. Someone like that. Just threaten a few more times. It will have to be subdued soon. Tran Luong Gok's reaction and the red spy after reading the email. It is no different than the Holy Spirit. She laughed as if she wanted to give birth. Fold your stomach continuously. It takes a long time to get up straight. Ha ha ha, this brother is so cute. It's decided. After the capture of the Tianhai city, I will let this boy be my brother. Tell me a joke. I'm going to laugh. I'm in a good mood today. This little brother is adorable. Tried to laugh so hard that he fell. But in those eyes, there's a dark ray. Best not to lose face. But people immediately start talking to each other in the meeting room. The jade ceiling then spoke. Don't just care about cute. If he doesn't know what we're going to do. Try the pink message. We see we don't have to hurry. If you can't hit, try not to. He looked at his attitude very scared. We can threaten a few more times. The red spy's eyes carried a hint of indifference. How many days have passed since the end of the world took place? Now the people alive don't want to die. Ngok salary ceiling agreed. I can also talk to him more. Besides, is it possible that he's acting? Tran Luong Ngok is an extremely careful person. He won't just for an email, but judging the weak and helpless. Such a person, you can't rule the city of Tianhai alone. They really, very little information about the city of Tianhai. I don't even know. The glorious feats of Zhang Yi. He held up a finger and said, Tran Luong Ngok. You are too careful. Whether he's pretending or not. Then the already weak Tianhai city is it's undeniable. As long as our troops get through, is that it's easy to wipe out everything. The jade replied reluctantly. It's not just that simple. We should talk to Zhang Yi more. One more time, if it can be resolved properly. No one wants to pay with blood. Try to listen to the words of Tran Luong Ngok. She looked at her nails and said. Then keep talking to him. To make him submit his territory and resources. Maybe we'll spare his life. People who just have hope. They don't want to find death. Let's not force people to the end. The Red Cross and the Red Cross both say that, but to be honest, there is no other way. Talk to him more too. But let him know that we don't have much patience. There's no time to argue here with him. 3 people have reached a consensus, decided to continue talking to Zhang Yi. But while they're talking back and forth, on the translation side, Yang Zhangsen has broken into the firewall, the network of their organization. Got it. Not power. Everyone has a strong security system. Tianhai City is one of those cities with technology, the most developed information of the United States. Previously a few bases. There are some good programmers working. The city next door. Due to the effect of attracting weaker talent, Tianhai City, relatively rare good characters. Yangshin broke into the wall, half their lives. It's like going through a wall. It's made of spider webs. I didn't have any trouble. Notification computer. In the process of collecting 10 data, please wait. HN muttered. Middle handle. Immediately, she brought the information of the 3 great powers. In the great city of Zaktu, for Trong translation. Zhang Yi sat on the sofa in the living room. A computer on the knee. Next to him is Yang. I'm talking about the information I got 10 years ago. Based on existing information. The scale of these 3 forces is not small. Although not equal to 5, the greatest power of the Tianhai city, the peak period, but not too much difference. Although SAO, the permanent population of Dizak City, there are also more than 8 million people. Supplies are also quite plentiful. They have space to develop their power. Swiping fingers on the keyboard and hover. Turn each page of the report, specific strategic information of buff forces. What's most interesting is that they don't just have inside information, but also separate statistics of the other two forces. This makes Trong Yi harvest a lot. Even though SAO will not be clearly written AI, the abilities and weaknesses of their leader in your own data warehouse. Minhu has the ability to strengthen the system. The name of power is stalking. It works through the thyroid and through the body. Once due to close quarters combat, even when wearing heavy armor. He can also be injured. Muttered the fluid. I don't blame Chen for being beaten up by him. He's disabled. The opponent's external defense capabilities, direct attack on the internal organs, completely oppress the opponent. I told you that Tran Tin Quang is not so useless. But if it's fixed, there's no way. Yang Han, when I heard Zhang Yi speak, I was surprised. What? Hand to the computer screen. Say it again. Let me understand. Min's belief is the strengthening power system. It's called dysmenorrhea. Listen to Zhang Yi explain. The Lord cannot hide the wonder. You're not a psychic. So hearing these things, that you can't help but shake. The translation continues. Trying to spy on people with mental abilities. The name of power is a red kiss that mesmerizes the mind. Make people completely puppets with his wood. And that's kind of love. Comes from the depths of the heart. He couldn't help but feel. It's really a perverted skill. I can't help but take a breath. This ability is bizarre. Even though I know I've been burned, but the enemy still can't escape for love. Will still sink into it. The epidemic, remember that. Red is the one with the most followers. The power of control is so strong, that would give her a large number of followers. Can be considered a weaker version of the original Zero. Fake. Please point your hand at the screen. Oh, it also records the weakness of her ability. The use of red kisses is limited by distance. Must be within VI 100 meters. And the closer the effect gets, the stronger it gets. When I saw your face red, I was curious. What's going on? She hurried to the other direction. Silence doesn't know how to explain. The police seemed to understand. He did not ask more questions, but focused on the main thing. If the first kiss is successful, even the Delta-level alchemists, you'll also lose your mind. Great for trying this pink. He was a professional technician before. Listen to this and ask again. What is a professional technician? Mr. Trong Yi. There's a big question mark in your head. Cough up for a few hours. Then move on to another. Why don't you come and see the news of Tran Luong Ngok? Ceiling Salary Ngok Mutant Animal System. It's a power called Leopard. It can run at almost the speed of sound. And the instincts of the aggressive hunter. That gives him the ability to hunt extremely well. Carefully test the abilities of each person. The leaders of the three great powers are Delta level, of course. The power is also highly variable. But no matter how metamorphosed it is, there will also be weaknesses. That's why Trong Yi is always careful. Never despise any enemy. Translate finished reading. The ability of each mutant. In the three forces. In the heart, he had a preliminary assessment of each person's abilities. He muttered. Their combined strength is also very strong. I don't know what Kier's arsenal says. He kept on gliding his hands on the keyboard. View information about weapons. There's nothing scary about weapons. Even worse than the Tay-Sun base. It must have been when they came to fight the Tianhai city. They can't carry too many hot weapons. Carefully calculated translation program. Don't miss any details. So first of all, we'll weaken at least 2/10 of their power. His email has now been notified. Zhang's eyes flashed a ray of light. He knew that the response from the Great Z city had come. He clicked on the email to see. In less than a minute, he finished reading the email. It's still a series of lies. Show their tough attitude. Tianhai City. It's an important city on the southeastern coast. It's absolutely impossible to make a mistake. This is not the problem of some of your forces. It's a problem for the entire Jiangnan region, or even the whole country. So the three great powers of Daizi City. We're going to coordinate the defense is what's needed. I hope you put the common good first. If you deliberately resist, we can only take tough measures. Until then, there will be conflict or casualties. It's not good. I hope you will consider it carefully. Finally, there's one more sentence. We're on our way. I hope to see you again soon in Shanghai. Finished reading the email. Squint your eyes. The corners of her lips showed a smile full of meaning. I really like to camouflage. He's stretching his shoulders. And put your hand on the keyboard and you're typing and you're saying to yourself, it's time to start a real show. He wrote an email and sent it. His purpose in sending that email was one. Camouflage. For the people of Daizi City, they despise their power. If he surrenders immediately, is the opposite. That would make the people in the big city suspicious. Email with content. If you come to coordinate your defense, it's okay. In fact, our defenses are a little weak. I can give you a piece of land. But you, don't touch our current base. When Changyi sent it, he casually drank water, waiting for their moves. Let's hear what they have planned. Kier email was quickly sent to the leader of the three great powers. View this email. They laughed. In the action of the translation chapter, shows that fight back. Daizi City. Even the land was given. Enough to see him weak. How soft and afraid of war. Cut this land today. Tomorrow cut another land. Soon enough, a big power will be able to devour the entire city of Tianhai. Up to that time, even Zhang Yi and Ba organized the base. They will also devour no more. No matter what they hold in their hands. It's the core resource. There are also mutants in the weapons supplies. The leaders of the major forces. Let's get together again to talk. He said he had changed his voice now. Then it is. We can take the Tianhai city. Without spending an army. What does a good one say? The Red Cross said, what are you waiting for? This can't be delayed. Let's quickly lead our troops. Let's take some areas first. They're important resource. Let's go slowly and gradually. The Jade ceiling is not very good. They still have some troops. We should make them surrender their weapons. Then we can be completely stable. Tried to smile and speak with a tight back. You're in a hurry. If you let them surrender their weapons, maybe they'll risk their lives with us. Even though we're not afraid of their soldiers. But if we fight, military damage is not good. Although SAO, there are not many mutants who survive, but they're also the elite. You don't have to put them on the line. Ngok's salary ceiling frowned. I just see that they will not agree. Volunteer. Give their land and resources to us. Only when they've completely lost their ability to resist. Then we can rest assured. To respect Min's favorable voice. Of course, they're not. But now, the power is in front of them. They don't want to. Red message of advice. Or as a human, you should leave the way. The Tianhai city is so vast. Give them an area they need. Just let them live. I have heard it said that we do the same thing. On the translation side, he also said, let people know about this information. The king was furious. When he opened the translation, his voice was calm. I want to inform you about the picture. They are prepared to act. A few days later, the cold snow, the west wind blowing, a convoy full of mutants from the great city of Zak to enter the Tianhai city limits. My husband and others made up their minds. The first step is to first kill the Taesun. From Zak city to Taesun area, must go through this place. Because if there's no satellite navigation, then people will often choose a prominent landmark as a positioning point. The convoys of the great city of Trach rumbling go to Court 3, 7 Tower. There's a total of 50 tanks, 800 elite fighters, 72 mutants of major powers. 8 parts of the fighting power of the whole city has been deployed here. Taesun is the base of Trong Yip. They're going to be stationed in Taesun. Threatened Trong Yip, forced Zhang Yi to surrender to them. In the middle of the convoy, on a painted tank. It's all white. Respect Min, Tran, Liang, Ngok, and Gu Hong. I'm looking at a map and start talking about it. After taking over the Tianhai city, we'll drive out indigenous forces like Zhang Yi to a barren area. Try to rosy confident voice. All of our elite troops. Before absolute power, every diabolical plot is a joke. This can't be delayed. If not when the Jiangnan area discovered, you might get in trouble. Wait till they get to Tianhai city. Based on their strong force, they can easily suppress the epidemic. And others, they have to hand over their land and resources. The Jade is careful to say, but we have to prevent them from attacking. Even though they think, my strength is completely superior, but there's no need to take risks. But one thing they didn't expect was, all their conversations, they were all heard clearly by the Lord. That's why Zhang Yi knew about their plan. This time in the shelter, slowly get up from the sofa. He stared coldly at the leader of the base. Prepare for action. Min used his index finger, touch Million Vu base on the map. Millions more will belong to me. We're going to use this ship for our fleet. Trying to send a red message slowly towards the Yangtze base. We took the Yangtze base's oil refinery. Bear Gok Coldface. Also pointing towards steel smelting plant of base rebar. The steel mill belongs to me. His eyes suddenly flashed. A curious ray. I remember the name Kier. Where is his territory? But it doesn't matter. Even if it comes to that, he has to give it to us. The sky and the red eyes flashed. They're all curious. But no one knows much about the translation. Even though no one says Ra. But they all implicitly understand that he is the leader of the greatest power. In Tianhai city, currently, the area he occupied must have been the best. But after the end of the world, communication between regions is interrupted. Before them, busy fighting for territory in his city. Get in the mood. They care about other cities. I suddenly smiled at that moment. We'll call the surname Zhang Kier. Let him take us to sea. Though S.A.O. Until then, he'll have to hand over the place to us. Say yes. The red envelope and Tran Liang and Gok both nodded, smiles on their faces. As a whole, everything of the great powers in Tianhai City, it was in my hands. Right now, trying to accidentally read message, I saw a tall figure outside the window. She turned her head to look. Just a few 100 meters away, there's a soaring white tower. The top of the tower is covered in snow. It looks very quiet and mysterious. Trying to mutter. 3-7, the tower of distance, we capture the sky. It's not far. And then she turned around. Continued to discuss the land division plan with Min and Tran Lu and Guk. The silent night. If it's daytime, maybe she'll see a shadow at the top of the tower. As the convoy passed by the 3-7 Tower of Plague, standing at the top of the tower, coldly looking down at everything below. In the heart, he quietly calculated the distance between himself and the convoy. When the convoy is only 500 meters from 3-7 Tower, he was able to see them through the tactical viewfinder. He slowly opened his right hand. An extremely dark spark suddenly appeared in his hand, dancing like a black lightning. The practice of nothingness. Black space power as ink rapidly expands, dancing as unstable as lightning, almost out of control. Hold the palm of your hand tight. By the power of that darkness, turned into a veined spear nearly 2 meters long. After absorbing the origin, the space left over from the beginning, the epidemic has awakened. My most powerful trick. Nihilism does not destroy lead color. This is still the first time he uses it to attack the enemy. He looked coldly at the train that was passing by. Activate precision sniper skills. Locked in the middle of the convoy. Then he held up that empty spear. Aim at the target and throw hard towards the Kier side. Swing a shot. Pierced through nothing. The black tree immediately disappeared in front of him. Driven by the endless night. That shot towards the convoy in the city of Daisai. The world is still, the snow is falling. But a second later, get the superpowered fleet of Daisai City as the center. A giant ball of darkness appeared on the ground. A ball of darkness enveloped the space, thousands of square meters. A sound as if it already existed in that location. Most of the vehicles in the convoy are covered. There are less than 10 cars out of range. Even the cars in the back are not covered. When you hit the ball, the darkness also disappears. 0-1 sound. The driver of the car behind him rushed to the brakes. See, the giant wormhole suddenly appeared in front of me. In his eyes, he looked very scared. He feels the threat of death. What is this? They stopped the car and couldn't keep going. His eyes filled with fear. The chaotic scene. They still don't know what happened to them. But very quickly, that shadow ball was gone. Everything is swallowed. There's nothing left. It's just a giant hemispherical wormhole. Smooth on the ground. Some of them got out of the car and watched the situation. There are no more people with cars. Human vehicles. Not even a speck of dust remains. Horrifying sight in front of me, the soldiers who have fought so many battles. I'm also scared of a cold sweat. The white face was horrified. A terrifying ability that fell to the ground. It's like seeing the devil. It's a loud cry in my mouth. And then frantically run off into the distance. Aerial view of 3-7 towers. Zhang's eyes suddenly stopped, looking towards the snow-white horizon. There's a shadow that's going crazy. But he didn't notice. Only leisurely use communication device speak receiver mesh. He paused for less than a second, and then said another. There's no life left. In the far side of the snow field, the false powers of the Tianhai city appear in all directions. The pseudo-dysfunctions of a large bases, and the chapter's group guards one direction. Tran Tin Quan held up the gun in his hand, order to level. Kill according to the leader's orders. Destroy them all. There is no one left. Listen to the order of all mutants rushed towards the remnant of the old town. At this point, the train is in complete disarray. The giant ball of darkness suddenly appeared. That swallowed up almost the entire convoy. On the lucky cars that aren't covered. The false dysfunctions, Daizac City, rushed to contact the false aptitude, was swallowed up. But it's a pity. They didn't get any response. This time, the plague did not leave any living people. He simply doesn't allow any AI. Spread your power out. Zhang Yi's face is a little pale now. For him, the use of space spears is extremely expensive. He's got to feed a huge amount of superfood to replenish their energy. Then he took a step. Use 2 space doors to move in space to a place devoured by nothing. Almost everything is swallowed up clean. But deep below the spherical depression, there's a pathetic body lying on its stomach. His face was no longer visible. Because the whole body is covered in ketchup, the flesh is no more. But I can survive Zhang's magic. Clearly I'm a very powerful powerhouse. Capable of, he was one of the 3 leaders of the city. Respect Min. Delta level amplification system, fake strength. The translation is slowly moving forward. T must draw the forged metal subblade. Adam the Elder. Stop pretending to be dead, and you can fool me. Kai model is a new skill that Zhang Yi has after absorption of incomplete originals. Of the original, not fake. Compared to God, the skills of nothingness this model. There is scope VI further developed. Wider coverage area. To compensate for shortcomings in the ability to attack. Wide area. And the intensity of Zhang's long-range attack was insufficient. But if you encounter hyperplasia mutants, or the animal system, it may not be a killing blow. As the Min view, a Delta-level mutant, for example. Carefully hold the sword. Left hand up when spaced to defend in front of you. One step at a time towards the Holy Spirit. The government does not want to act, but once it's done, he will abide by the principle of non-violators. We don't offend people. You have sinned against me, destroying grass at its root. 01 mutant from Great Z came today. The city will survive. Min's muddy body twitched on the ground. As far as religion is concerned, Zhang Yi's careful appearance. It's a bit redundant. Because just now, he just relies on instinct. Unleash all your power. New reluctance, not completely crushed, like everyone else under the power of nothing. But his whole skeletal body, it's almost all broken. The organs are also severely damaged, to the point of not being able to stand up on their own. My wife is very scared. At the same time, I feel confused, standing on the brink of life and death, all those mixed emotions. It all turns into anger. The only thing that matters is anger. Why are you so strong? You have to pretend to be weak. If you had told us earlier, do we dare to come here and mess with you? To see Min Jian Nan raise her neck. The eye looked at the translated chapter viciously. At the last moment of my life. He let out a scream of anger from his throat. Why did Zhang Yi stop walking 100 meters away from him? Then he opened the door to space. Raise your sword in your right hand. It seems to be adjusting the direction of the sword. Speak in a calm manner. Why the hell is there a reason? A sword through the gates of space-time. Pierced the head of the Ming dynasty. Only because you are so weak. Fast translation, to absorb the essence of the Ming religion. Stretch your shoulders to speak comfortably. Okay? Let us see if we can rest well. Up until now, Daizi City Mutant Team. To invade the Tianhai City, he was killed 8 times along the way, including 2 Delta-level mutant leaders. Without any expression. Everything went well, as in his plan. High-level mutants versus lower-level mutants. Then the actual forces are overwhelmingly different. His feeling right now, just like when the Chinese army arrived in the sky. Even if they're Delta robbers, he can still easily crush others. From another direction, a shadow running in the snow risking his life, running up a giant snowstorm. That's Tran Lu Nguk, one of the 3 leaders, the great power of Daizi City. It's a metaphorical metamorphosis. His metamorphosis is leopard. Comes from the instincts of predators. As soon as Zhang's fluid condenses into nothingness, he felt it in the blink of an eye, that I'm in a life-threatening situation. Just a second later, he ran out of the range of nothingness. Kai conflict. Nguk's salary ceiling turned his head back at the dark space giant, Kier, feeling fear from the bottom of my heart. He trembled and exclaimed, "This is still a Delta mutant." And there, even the captain of the Blizzard investigation team, it just stops at this level. What monster did we tease? Run. You have to run away, or you will die. The jade ceiling no longer cares about anything. Before facing the risk of death, he can give up everything. But on the run, it's a big firewall, suddenly blocked his way. The fire was burning, and the sky was covering everywhere. The air smelled of strong alcohol. The Black Panther cried out, "This is..." He was pressed by the fire and couldn't stop walking. He looked up and saw 2 mutants in front of him. A woman, body covered in lava charms. Eyes as cold as a knife, holding a giant bottle of wine, looking at him. And then there's a man with a thin face. I'm smiling with my eyes closed. That's the guy in charge of the Yangtze base. Red Pepper, along with her deputy, is the Sands family. Have been waiting here for a long time. Learn to speak with confidence. Zhang Yuan has long. The police are not tracking the rest. Because the survivors were afraid of losing their secrets, he doesn't have to spend his energy. He completely absorbed the essence of the Ming religion, then back below the 3-7 tower. Take out a chair and sit down. Rest while waiting for news from others. Half an hour later, everyone arrived. In the hands of each, they're all holding an unequal amount of heads. They're all frozen in red snow. It's freezing into ice. There's a smile on everyone's face. Because this time, those who have been sent by the Chinese are the elite. There are not a few mutants among them. After killing them, under the permission of Zhang Yi, the mutants of Tianhai City have absorbed their originality. In addition to some mutants killed by Zhang to the point where it melts into ash, the other mutants, they've put in a lot of energy. For the mutants of Tianhai City, especially flowering and browsing. In this battle, they killed the most enemies. The harvest is also the largest. Red Pepper training high head, in front of the gallery. Tran Luong Ngok as chief at his feet. He's the leader of one of the big three. In Dai Zak City, Ngok salary ceiling. The red face clearly showed pride. It's about destroying the leader of a power. It is also a triumph. It is very rare in the whole area of Jiangnam. But in front of destruction, her attitude became even more respectful. It's a submissiveness that comes from the bottom of the heart. She may have been a little unscrupulous before. But after tonight, that mood has completely disappeared. It's because we all saw the power of the translation. It's an existence they can't reach. The second round of salary approvals. Recount the quantity to see if it matches the words of the Lord. The salary can't be stopped. I'm afraid it's a little difficult, because most people have been killed by you. The pieces of Vung no longer see any form. Laughing is also true. And then his face tightened, but tonight. No AI is allowed to be lazy. I told you. Don't let a mutant invade. From Dai Z City survived. Apart from everything that's going on tonight, no AI can reveal a word to the outside. Even if the blizzard is interrogated, tell them to come find me. Do you understand? His strength and ability, maybe it will be revealed sooner or later. But the slower it gets, the better. Because one day late, once again, he killed the enemy. By taking advantage of the information gap. Even more so if you reveal your power too early. He will be targeted by the Jiangnan area. Chen was the first to stand out. Frankly, yes. Any request from the leader? We at the court base are in complete compliance. Never break the law. The Lord is in a hurry to say that I am too. Realize that others have lost the opportunity. I have to grin my teeth to say why. I belong completely to the leader. Who dare not listen to our leader? He will be the first to not let him. After she's done talking, everybody's here. They all looked at her strangely. At this time, I realized that in the heat of the moment, said the misleading words. It's also a bit wordless. She coughed to mean I was. Just wave your hand. Everyone understands what you mean. Explain a lot at this point. Just more trouble. Give orders to all members of the team. Kill the invaders. Either way, we must destroy the enemy. Dare to attack the city of Thien Hai. Avoid them, Moss. The true power of Trong plague everywhere. Cause him more trouble. The angel asked. If the Jiangnam area asked how should we answer? Smile softly replied. How else to answer? Let's just say that, under the collective power of all forces, in Tianhai City, the aggressor has been uprooted. The angel scratches our head. We're worried that they'll suspect. In terms of strength, no way we can win so softly. Shake your head. These things, you don't have to explain too much to them. We are the victims. Our job is to defend. Legitimacy is no problem. In the Jiangnam area, to form their own superpower association, publicly stated this. In our hands, we have a letter from them. Can prove that they were the first to act. What do the injured need to explain? What about working at SAO? We can win so easily. The answer is even simpler. On the battlefield, the landscape can change dramatically. Anything can happen. Let them guess. Anyway, now, the attention of the Jiangnan area. It's all about the city of Linhai. There's no time to care about the situation here. We are not afraid that something will happen. People who take orders go immediately and search the entire surrounding area, in case anyone escapes. In fact, this action is purely preventive. It doesn't make much sense. Because the mutants came from the Great Z City, they were defeated with just one trick. The rest of us are afraid of breaking our secrets, because the mutants in Tianhai City fired their bullets fall down neatly. Finally, Zhang Yisai from Fat used snow, filling the giant hole. He created it himself. The scene quickly returned to normal. On the white snow, it doesn't leave any traces of blood. It's like nothing ever happened. From Fat with others respectfully nod. Obey Zhang's orders.